Now joined by Bussin with the boys' very own Nebraska GOAT, Will Compton. Will, this is awesome to have you here, man. We had you at the Elite Series in Nashville. We're here at the home studio in Nashville, man. Glad to have you here, brother.
Dude, I am stoked to be here. One, because that event in Nashville for all the big recruits, there's a cornerback that's committed to Ohio State. I'm forgetting his name right now.
Naeem Offord?
Maybe.
Or Devin Sanchez? One
Devin.
of those two? Yeah.
Devin.
Yeah.
I got to meet him when we went out to the Houston Texans training camp, and he came up. He's like, hey, I was there when you were at the On-3 event. It fired me up, and that he remembered that and all that. But I'm stoked to be here, and because, we whooped UTEP last weekend. We look kind of salty right now.
It's a big one this week, man. It's a big one this week.
It's a massive one this week. I'm doing my best for a slow burn, temper expectations, but there is a part of me that thinks we can steamroll this team if we just keep our head straight. We keep our head on a swivel. We have no fear against Travis Hunter, Horn, Shadur, because outside of them, I think there's another receiver they got. Outside of them, I feel good. I like us.
Yeah, they got some dudes. College football sickos, we appreciate y'all being dialed in here. Make sure you are subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel. We got predictions, we got analysis, we got great conversations like this one with Will Compton. Don't want y'all to miss anything we're doing here on this show, The Hard Count, on the On3 YouTube channel. We appreciate y'all for being subscribed. Back to the conversation with Will. The magnitude of this game, primetime, NBC, in Lincoln. Here's a good place to start. Will you be on the Jumbotron for the hype video again this week? Is that happening? Okay.
I will. That's confirmed. That's all season long for home games.
No way.
Nebraska reached out and they're like, hey, we were talking it over, and we talked with Coach Rule, and would you be interested in doing hype videos for the Husker home games this year?
Let's go.
And my response was, I was born for an opportunity like this. And I said, absolutely, I'll do it. And I'm like, is this going to be played, before the tunnel walk? Is it going to be like, is it for the players? Is it for the fans? And they're like, the tunnel walk's going to happen. The band's going to play. Then we're going to do some sound off. Your video's going to play, and then the ball's going to get kicked off. And, bro, the chills I got down my spine to fire up Husker Nation. And everybody knows how I feel about the Huskers. I loved playing there. I love going to school there. Maybe the best decision I've ever made, and I am right now thinking about marrying my wife as well. And yeah, bro, I'm so stoked, man. I love the Huskers, and again, we're 1-0 right now. We looked good against a salty UTEP team.
The Miners.
Yeah, the Miners. 11 transfers from Austin Peay. You're going to get that team's best ball
100%.
in week 1.
100%.
So knowing that we handled them 40-7, I was juiced up. And just to see how we played.
Yeah.
See how the boys played, how the players played. I'm sure it's instead of me rambling, I'll let you go ahead and ask the questions.
No, I love it. That's where I want to start, because like Raiola, for me, I'm thinking like this is the game changer for Nebraska. Like, great defense, awesome. Okay, run the ball effectively the last couple of years, awesome. Last year especially, a lot of dudes back. Dude, he looks so good against UTEP. Again, it's UTEP, so like you're trying to temper expectations, but like, just what was your assessment of him first day out?
Loved it. My hands, like I was pitting, I was sweating before the game started. Taylor had the money line on Vandy.
Okay.
We were watching the game before we went down to the tailgate at Texas A&M. Obviously, Nebraska kicked off at 2:30, but Taylor had the money line for Vandy. So they were in a little barn burner there at the end. But I was like, hey, fellas, keep it on that game. Don't, because everybody was like, Will wants to watch the Huskers, blah, blah, blah. But I got it pulled up on my iPhone with YouTube TV, and no free shout-outs YouTube TV.
There you go.
But I'm sitting there sweating, like, nervous, bro. Like, it's finally here. I can't wait to see how Dylan does. And obviously the rest of the team, they returned a lot of guys on defense. And just excited, man. But I'm telling you, and maybe you'll get this, you played. But – and it's a sleeper kind of assessment. However, I think it's, if you know and you've been in the locker room, you can tell how massive this was. I don't know how much of the game you watched.
Yeah.
But when Dylan was walking out of the tunnel walk and getting into it with the fans, like, I don't know how you were, but even as a veteran in the league, like when I'm going out for my first start or I'm getting an opportunity, or when I was playing as a freshman or sophomore, junior, senior year at Nebraska, there are so many, like, you're in such a fight or flight response. going out to the field because, you feel like you're insanely prepared, but you're thinking of every situation possible. But to have the poise, I guess, and the swagger to get involved with the crowd, and this kid is 19.
Yes.
I'm thinking to myself, hey, I hope this isn't like some arrogant overconfidence and he lays Doug, but I love just seeing him come out of the tunnel walk.
100%.
Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Dude, I know exactly. So the thing for me is like, I played in a conference where I'm playing in front of like 200 people, and like walking out, I'm still like dialed in. You're kind of have tunnel vision on, and so to be in a sold out Memorial Stadium, and he's like, "Yeah, let's go!" Like first start. It's not like he's like some veteran walking out
around seniors and upperclassmen. Like you're around a different type of caliber of in that point in time men in your eyes.
Sure, 100%.
And watching him go out. He had a big throw, a great throw downfield where I think Isaiah, number 18, kind of dove and missed it. He could have came down with it. But you see a great throw like that, and for him to go back to him throughout the game and just trust his arm deep, bro. Like, you're not used to seeing deep plays or big plays like that with Nebraska, or you haven't for some time. And just seeing that, bro, and him trusting it and watching the offensive line move people again, I know it was UTEP. But when you've watched the Huskers in recent years – but the mentality that this team seemed to have on Saturday, again, leaning on guys, moving the line of scrimmage. There were 4 running backs with at least 6 carries, and they averaged over 4 yards per carry. Like, they were running through people's faces. To go along with Dylan, and obviously we're, that 3rd and 11 where he looks Mahomes-esque. I know he loves Mahomes, and shout out Patrick. Yeah. But just to see that, and also the receivers go up and play to make plays versus – dropping one in the basket, like going up when they were like in the red zone and he throws that touchdown pass. And I think it was number 4, goes up
Banks,
and Banks goes up and grabs it and it's his ball. And then again, the black shirts, we got beat on one route. That kid was quick. That actually makes me, it's like, okay, you can't get a matchup like that on somebody like a Travis Hunter because he can do the same thing. But making plays, man, picking it off the defensive line. You got Polar Bear, you got Ty. Like, those guys are nasty, man, and I'm so juiced. I'm so juiced because I feel like we do have a good product this year.
It felt like, I think it was, he had a big completion. I want to say it was Lloyd. Breaks off a big gain, and you're like, okay, here we go. We're in the red zone. I think it was offensive pass interference, bring it back, 2nd and 30. And, like, 2nd and 30 a year ago is like, okay, so we're punting here in a minute. And then he just, like, two throws, and then like, okay, scoring drive. Like now we're playing a different kind of ball.
Yes,
so
bro.
like the it factor he has, to your point, massive game changer.
Even the freshman, this freshman receiver, I can't remember his name, but I think he's little number 17 or he's like he's in the teens.
Okay.
But him, like you can tell he's going to get utilized. Kind of like that little. Scrappy slot player where you get jet sweeps. He's somebody who's fast. A returner.
Jalen Lloyd, maybe.
I don't know. I don't think it's Jalen Lloyd because he's where did Jalen came from?
He's a redshirt freshman, or maybe not a redshirt, but he's a second-year player.
Yeah. But this is a freshman, and again, he had a big play, and he gets up with some swag about him. It just, I don't know. You can see the attitude, and it's awesome to see because again, you've watched Nebraska over the last decade. The boys are not coming out swinging like that, having that type of confidence. When the running back fumbles the ball going into the goal line and we eventually get a safety, but a play like that happens, it's more of a snowball effect versus, hey, we just had a great drive. Defense, we need you to bail us out.
Yes, 100%.
You're not playing complimentary football like that. It's kind of like, oh, here we go again. But it's just, again, I know week 1, UTEP, we got a good test this weekend, but it feels different this year.
But here's the thing, like I said this throughout like spring football, fall camp, going into week 1, like as long as you have a 0 in the loss column, like drink all the Kool-Aid you can. Like enjoy the heck out of it because who knows what happens over the course of a long season. Like live in the moment, undefeated in the moment. Like, okay, let's go. Huge game we've talked about, Colorado, Nebraska. What are you watching like matchup-wise when it comes to how Nebraska can potentially get out of this one with a dub?
Again, I feel like – you want to respect the game. You want to respect the team because no matter what, you got to go out there and play on Saturday. But I feel like what you saw, again, your boy, I was on it. North Dakota State plus 10 last week. I was like, guys, do not sleep on this ball club. Like this is – those boys up north in Dakota, South Dakota State, those guys, like they can play some ball. And it's like their Super Bowl to come out here and beat Colorado in front of their home crowd. And I feel like there's vulnerabilities on Colorado's side defensively that, again, it's like – You can take them by – you see Dylan throwing it. You see us being able to run the football. Like, as long as you play complementary football, like, I don't know. I think we can beat their –
It's there.
I think it's there. We got to be careful getting in bad matchups with – again, they have a lot of speed on offense.
Sure.
Their offensive line seem to still have some holes where guys are getting after Shadur, but Shadur is so poised, and he's a very good quarterback, and he never seems to blink. Dude can throw it as he's getting hit to where he doesn't even get his full arm and still seems to make an unbelievable throw.
Stupid.
Stupid.
Like trick shots out there.
Yeah, so the black shirts still have their work cut out for them, but again, I think they're very hungry for this game because I think everybody remembers the taste in their mouth leaving Boulder last year.
Mm-hmm. And as a guy who played defensive football, like, is that something where you try and heat up a Shadur Sanders, like you meant? Is that something where you're like, hey, let's keep it all in front of us? Like, what is the angle in your mind defensively to try and stop a team with that much talent and that much explosivity on offense?
Yeah, you can't be predictable into playing zone and keeping it in front of you. But to me, the biggest team key, like if you're going Mike Vrabel team keys for defense this week, the very first one is keeping the ball in front of you but eliminating X plays, because I think that's where Colorado can hurt you. When they spread you out and they get running and guys don't put hands on anybody, if they're free to run, they do a really good job. So I think you got to get them out of their rhythm. You got to reroute them. You got to put your hands on guys. You got to get Shadur going through his progressions, because again, like you can do what you can, but you ultimately just have to contain Shadur. You got to blitz when you feel like, you know, situationally, Coach White, he's going to know when to pressure and when not to. But I think on the back end, it's guys, keep the ball in front of you and make them earn every yard, because it's a team that is ready for a track meet. We can't give them one.
Sure. What is an X play? I'm not familiar with what that
means.
An
explosive play.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Shorten it down a little bit.
Right. The offense gets behind you, a receiver gets behind you, but ultimately you give up an explosive play based on one mishap. Guys not fishing to the football. Somebody might get beat on a slant route that ends up turning into a touchdown. So it's gap integrity, all of those things, to where, again, they're going to catch a lot of – they're going to run their offense. They're still going to be good offensively, but it's like, hey, make them make them drive the entirety of the field. Don't let them get away with taking a slant. Or like you saw Travis on his first touchdown against North Dakota State, where he just hooks up for a hitch route and takes it all the way to the house. It's like things like that, you can't allow those things to happen.
Interesting. Okay, so making them earn it, a huge key to the game, obviously. Speaking of like the final result in this game, I wasn't going to ask you for your pick because I think we know where you fall there.
We all know where
Do they cover? Great teams win, or good teams win, great teams cover. Yeah. Where do you fall there?
I think so. I mean, that's where I'm going to put my money this weekend.
Let's go.
I'm not going to say same team, because you just don't know how to measure up a UTEP. It's awesome I'm getting to even talk like that this year. But the way we were able to to run the football, throw it off play action, take shots, have good accuracy. Dylan even took a shot to the face last week where his helmet comes off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, if we're doing those things, and I trust in Tony White and his defensive philosophy, like they're a very good team defensively, and they returned a lot of guys. They got a nasty line of scrimmage. So again, it's like, if we're playing our best ball, we should handle this team. I'm telling you, we should handle this team. Keeping
Tony White too as the DC,
big.
He probably could have gone and been a head coach somewhere.
100%.
For being real, like. It might have been the biggest keep of the off. I mean, the portal is the portal, but like keeping him as a DC,
yeah,
absolutely.
And guys
huge.
seem to love him. Guys seem to love playing for him, and it's like when you have that and you have players wanting to be successful for their coach, like that's you got a team that has their head in the right spot.
Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.